I don't know if it's better to say I bought this $125 effing foundation and have it be crap and return it, or be delighted because it looks really good. Hi everyone, welcome back to Pavonine Studios Beauty and Art. If you're new here, my name is Amy. Today I am finally doing, I've been trying to get to this for like a week. I am finally doing a wear test, review, first impressions kind of video on the LaMer foundation. Now, I mentioned this in a previous video that I had purchased the wrong color. I returned that. I got the color Porcelain 01, and I think this is the lightest color that they have. It's a little bit too light, but the shades down from that weren't right either. So for me, I tend to rather go a little bit lighter and then bronze things, or, you know, adjust as I need to. And so I'm hoping that this will be okay. I am not going to mess around here. I'm just going to jump right into it. If you're interested in what's on my eyes, I did not film this, but I did use the Violet Voss Sakura palette again. I do have a video first impressions kind of thing on that, and I will try to remember to link that above. But I will say that my main complaint about this palette was that the two dark colors in it, Festival and Season, which are these two right here, were not dark enough to suit me. Today, when I went in with the color Season on my outer corner, I went in with that first instead of doing like a transition and trying to build on top of that. And that seemed to work better. So it's still not quite as dark as I'd like it to be, but it is better when you go about it that way. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump into this. This is the LaMer Soft Fluid Longwear Foundation Broad Spectrum 20. And I'm sorry I don't remember all the call outs, but I believe that this is like a medium cover, kind of a skin-like finish. Let's hope so, because that's what I like. And I'm going to shake this because why not, right? So I'm going to take 2 pumps to start. That's maybe too much. I don't know. So this is a liquid foundation, but it doesn't just, you know, it's not serum-y, so it doesn't just automatically run down my hand. And I am going to use my IT Cosmetics brush. This is the Love is the Foundation brush from this year. Isn't she pretty? This is one of the heart-shaped breast cancer awareness support type of products that they come out with every year. And usually I miss it. This year I got it, and I'm so excited. So I'm just gonna pick some of that up on my brush, and we're gonna do it. I can tell you that if this is not great, and I don't expect a miracle, you know, but if it's not great, it is going back. This does have a little bit of a scent to it. I don't find, it's kind of herbally, florally. So you can see that it's relatively light, but I'm not too worried about that. And I am, you know how you see directions on foundations that say start in the center of your face and work outward? I never do that because I don't like a lot of foundation on the center of my face, regardless of how much I might need to cover up there or whatever. I just don't do that. I like more on my cheeks. My cheeks, the flatter planes of my face can handle more foundation easier than the center of my face, around my nose and my mouth. I am going to put on some concealer, I think, today. So I have not dipped back into my foundation, but I'm going to say, you know, 1 pump per side of face. At least right now, that's what I'm thinking. That looks pretty. I mean, it's got a little bit of a glow to it, but it's not overly shiny. Match-wise, it's not bad. I have so much pink in my skin that I tend to like foundations that are very, very neutral, even though supposedly a more yellow foundation, a warmer foundation, might tone some of that down. To me, that doesn't really make sense, but that's what they say. This to me is relatively neutral. It's harder to tell what's neutral and what's not. I think the lighter you get, the lighter the shade of foundation that you get. And I do have my lights turned down a little bit, which I always try to remember to do when I'm doing a foundation, because otherwise it just blows everything out too much, and it's just too much, and it's like, well, sure, that looks good and looks like it perfects my skin and stuff in the footage, but the reality is that we don't walk around with diva lights in front of us or anything else. And I don't have a diva light, but we all know what they are. They're very useful tools. I might ask for one for Christmas. Okay, so that is my 2 pumps. And we will see if I feel like I need to blur anything. I might take a little extra just to go under my chin and make sure everything blends together on my neck. It's so hard to test foundations right now because you can't put them on. Or you could, when I went into Nordstrom to buy this, they pumped it out onto little sponges and I was able to put it on my arm. Or that's what they suggested. Now, I suppose if I would have put it on my face, they probably would have been okay with that, but I did have makeup on. So, okay, let's have a peek and see what she looks like. Well, damn. That looks really good. Sorry guys. Sorry. I don't know if it's better to say I bought this $125 effing foundation and have it be crap and return it, or be delighted because it looks really good. So I'm going to take one more pump, kind of a smallish pump, and I'm just going to make sure that everything on my face and my neck blend together. My ears look pretty pale this morning, all things considered. Usually they're the pink things on me. So I'm going to put a little bit more, just build this up just a little bit in the places that I like to have a little more, feel like I have a little bit more to cover, like redness and stuff like that. Although that is definitely a day by day kind of thing with me. So it's definitely a medium coverage, I'm going to say, because I can still see a few little things poking out, little freckles and sunspots and stuff, but I'm okay with that. I would rather see a few of those kinds of things than have too much foundation on and have it look really heavy and makeup-y. I am noticing that it is sitting a little bit in my lines right here, which is extremely typical for any foundation, even my favorites. I'm going to pick up my sponge, and this is a damp sponge, and just go around my mouth a little bit, right here, sides of my nose. And I'm being pretty gentle here because I don't want to pick anything up, but I do want to pick something up. I want to pick up any excess, but I don't want to blend away the foundation. Okay, I feel like it is very natural looking. There's a tiny bit of glow, but nothing that makes me just want to automatically reach for a lot of powder and put that on over it. So I'm going to give this a few minutes, make sure that it's dried down so that I can then determine if I want to powder anything or, anything like that. Let me go ahead and put on a little bit of concealer so that can also be setting down and stuff while I'm waiting. That's something that I have determined is really a useful trick, for lack of a better word, is letting things kind of sit for a minute. For example, if you want a little bit more coverage on something like concealer, just let it sit for a minute. Just be a little patient. Same thing with foundation. It's like, okay, instead of just immediately going in with more because you're not getting enough, give it just, 30 seconds or whatever to kind of sit there. And then you can determine, you know, if you need to go in with a lot more or a little bit more. It also gives you the opportunity, if it's a new foundation, to see if it is a foundation that you do have to immediately go in with another layer, or if it's something that you can wait for a minute. Because sometimes you can get a foundation that you want a little bit more out of, and if you wait too long and then you go in with more, then that can have kind of, it can either pick up the foundation that you've already put down or end up looking like just too heavy, too much. And I don't care for super full coverage foundations most of the time, mostly because they tend to look really heavy. I have a few that are quite good coverage that are not like that, but I am going to go ahead and set that, just because I always set my under eyes just a little bit. My Nars crystal powder. It still feels a little tacky. I'm going to powder lightly with my Bare Minerals powder, and I'm quite devoted to this powder because I know pretty much how it looks with everything, or I can predict how it's going to look with everything. I am looking a little ghostly. Everything will come together when I put on my bronzer and my blush and all that good stuff. Right now, I really think this is pretty. Damn it. I'm going to go finish the rest of my face, or I'm going to stay here and finish the rest of my face, and I will come back, share with you what I put on my face, and give you some final thoughts before I head off into my day for the wear test. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I've got the rest of my face on very quickly. For my bronzer, I used the Maybelline bronzer, and this is the color 02 Sun Kiss. For my blush, I went in with the Cover FX Duo, and this is the shade Pink Darling, and I just kind of swirled my brush in both the matte and the sort of satiny one. For my highlighter, I went in with, this is something new for me, and I'm going to do like kind of a brand review kind of thing of the Danessa Myricks. But this is the highlighter called Enlight, and this is the shade Angel Wings. And it's this really pretty, it's on the glittery side, which I don't love, but it's this really pretty peachy color, peachy gold. I don't know. It's just, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know how I feel about the glitter aspect of it yet, but you know, we're going to go with it today because that's what I put on. For my lips, I went in with the Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon, and this is the color called Trust Your Gut. And it's kind of I was hoping it was a little bit more pinky, but it's a little bit more of a, I don't know, nudie peachy color. So I think it'll be fine. And I went over with the new, and I don't have it with me, the new Maybelline Lifter Gloss, not the clear one, but kind of the milky pink clear one. That makes sense. I did go ahead and spray with the Collab Grand Finale because I felt like it was looking a little bit on the dry side. Now, I don't like a super glowy, dewy, you know, all over sort of wet look. That, for me, I don't like that. But I do not like something that looks dry. Matte is fine, but if it looks matte and dry, not so much. So I was feeling like this was looking a little bit dry, and it did seem to become a little bit more matte as time went on. So that was why I decided to spray with the Collab setting spray, which honestly, I use a setting spray of some sort almost every day, and so I like my foundations and powders and things to work with a setting spray. That's just what I like. I don't like the way that it looks right here, and I mentioned that earlier, right in those little creases, fine lines, whatever you want to call them, at the corner of my mouth. I keep thinking I'm going to get some filler or something there, but I haven't done it yet because it's hella expensive. I'm gonna go ahead and wear this for the rest of the day. I have a lunch date in about half an hour, and so I gotta get going, and I will definitely check back in and let you know how this wore throughout the day. One thing I will say before I go is that they gave me a little teeny tiny sample of the LaMer Soft Cream, and I put that on. And I totally forgot to put sunscreen on, so I'm glad this has a little. Not really enough for my taste, so I like to wear a sunscreen regardless of if there's a sunscreen in my foundation most of the time. But I forgot, so bad Amy. But this is nice, but again, this is so expensive, and so far I've put this on twice. It's nice, it smells nice, it feels good and everything, but is it worth the ticket price of $200 and whatever dollars it is? My jury's out. But I am going to leave it there for now, and I will do a check-in, and I'll probably just go ahead and insert that right about here. Hello, my darlings. I am back for a check-in on the LaMer Soft Fluid Foundation. This has been on my face for about 8 hours, and so I don't feel like it's really worn off a tremendous amount. I wish I could say that I really, really, really loved this foundation. I don't hate it, but it feels really dry for some reason. I did use a setting spray. I didn't go ham with the moisturizer. I didn't wear primer. I didn't put sunscreen on today either. Maybe having more moisture underneath would make a difference. I'm hoping so, because I do want this to work. I mean, I don't go out and buy a foundation hoping that it's going to be crap, right? And this is not crap. I'm not saying that at all. And I don't mind the way it looks by and large, but there are a few places where I feel like it looks kind of dry, especially down here. Now, I did go out and I wore a mask for a little while, so maybe that has something to do with the way that it's worn right down here. I guess I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you probably don't need this foundation. Now, I'm not saying that, if you really want to try it, try to get a sample maybe. That will help you match color and all of that for sure. But, I'm not totally in love with this. And I wish I were, because it's expensive. And you would think that something that costs as much as this foundation costs, it would be something that would work for a lot of people, that would look pretty amazing on a lot of people. I would say that if you have a little bit oilier skin than I do, mine's pretty normal. So, normal to dry, that may be part of what's going on here. But I would say that if you have a little bit oilier skin, you might really like this. I don't love it. I want to love it, but I just don't at this point. I am going to keep this, I think, because I do want to try it with extra moisture underneath, and I want to try mixing it with a few things and just kind of see how it plays with other foundations. But for now, I think you can probably pass on this, at least as far as like an initial payout of $120 something. Just get a sample, make sure you like it, try it over a couple of days with some different stuff underneath it, see what you think. I'm not going to go on and on about it or anything like that. I just feel like it looks a little dry, and it also feels a little bit dry. Now, I haven't really noticed it like clinging to anything, but right now I don't have on my face anyway a lot of like dry patches or anything like that. That would have definitely prompted me to put more moisturizer and stuff like that on before I ever went in with this foundation. But I thought, well, I'm just going to start with the minimum and see, how it goes, what I think. And, it looks basically like it did when I put it on as far as coverage. I don't know. I think you can save your money. I've got other foundations that I feel like they look just as good or better than this. I'm going to leave it there for now, and we'll get back to the regular video. Do stay tuned though, because I do plan on trying this a few other ways, and I will put that in a kind of a an update video that I'm hoping to put together in the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, bye-bye. Thanks so much for joining me today, you guys, while I tried out the LaMer Soft Fluid Foundation. This is, again, the shade Porcelain, and I believe this is the lightest shade. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notification whenever I upload a new video. Until next time, bye, guys.